Okay, let's talk about dust collection. I put up a video the other day talking about how I use my miter saw outside and how I haven't seen any miter saw brands out there that actually have good dust collection and that sort of thing. And that brought in all the comments. Okay, so let's talk about that. Dust collection, in my experience, which I get, I'm pretty new at this, is the most misunderstood subject in all of woodworking. Okay, and I don't care how long you've been doing this, or unless you've spent the last 10 years studying this subject, trust me. When I tell you your ShopVac is not an adequate dust collector and you get all pissed off and come back and show me a whole bucket full of this crap right here, this shit is not what we're talking about. Okay? If you can see it, it's nothing to worry about. And your Harbor Freight or your Micron or your Rockler or your ShopVac, your Festool dust extractors, they're all doing a very fine job of keeping all of that crap off of every surface in your shop, basically. So unless you want to be wading knee deep in that stuff, I'm not telling you not to use that. But what I really want you to do is understand what's really happening and what goes on with the air and why this is a problem you should be aware of and paying attention to. Right? Everything we do in here with all these power tools, it's all about safety this, safety that, but everybody neglects this one. So I'm not going to give you demonstrations and tell you need to buy this and watch this suck up a pile of crap on the table, right? Everybody else has done that crap, and it's all basically nonsense when it comes to the important subjects. They miss it completely, right? So what I will do is I'll post some links down in the comments to show you guys where you can go research your own stuff and understand exactly what it is you're dealing with and how simple it is actually to mitigate that threat if you understand it, right? The first thing is what we're talking about here, the stuff I have here, this is right out of my dust extractor. And that dust extractor does a great job of collecting that fine sawdust there, but if you can see it and it's settled on the surfaces and stuff, your body's really efficient at filtering that out. The problem is anything like 5 microns or below is a problem. 5 microns you can kind of see. Anything below that, especially when we get down to 1 micron, you can't see that. Those particles go into the air and they stay suspended for hours. And they act like a gas acts in a space. So this shop right here is 600 square feet. It's 20 by 30. The peak of the ceiling in here is about 11 feet. So these particles will permeate the space. They'll just move to fill the whole space. And they build up and accumulate. While you're in that environment with all that in the air, you're breathing all that stuff down into your lungs, and that goes way down into your lungs. Not going to get into all the medical stuff with that, except for it's all fun and games until you lose 20% of your lung function for scarring because you didn't want to listen or you were too busy already knowing everything. When I tell you your ShopVac is not an adequate dust collector, no matter what the marketing department or wherever you bought that from told you, when you show me a bucket full of this, talk about, look here, mine's working, it's doing all that. All you're telling me is that you don't know what you don't know. So that's what I want to talk about today. And if you're sensitive, you might want to show yourself out now because I don't sugarcoat anything. This ain't a donut shop, right? This shit right here, that's not what we're talking about. And if that's what you're leaning on right there, believe me, you're way behind the curve here. Okay? But unless you want to be wading knee deep in that kind of sawdust right there, I'm not saying don't use your ShopVac, don't use your little dust collectors you're getting from Harbor Freight and all this stuff. And I know a lot of guys, I was one too. I've been through this entire evolution with dust collection. I've been studying it pretty exclusively for the last 10 years. I've got published articles out there, and I always get the same pushback, so that's why we're leaning into that early. But here's all you need to know, right? You need to study particulate matter, first of all. Filtration, do you know what MERVs are, what MERV ratings mean? That's useful, right? How are particulates measured? Do you know what a micron actually is? Do you know how small 1 micron is? And then the other thing is like, all these guys are like, well, I got this Harbor Freight and it puts out this many CFM, and then that's what the manufacturer told you. But what you probably don't know is the manufacturer ratings are all 100% bullshit in the real world, because when they do their test, there's no regulation on this. When they test their impellers, they're testing the air coming in and the air coming out with nothing in the system. That's when they say max CFM, they're talking about free-flowing air with nothing hooked up to that thing. So then as soon as you start adding filtration, duct work, and I know you guys love, and don't get me wrong, guys, I'm not saying don't use these things. I'm telling you, just understand it. When you put your little dust deputy cyclone in front of your ShopVac, or I had a pretty decent setup on my my Harbor Freight one that I converted, and it went into a barrel, so all the big chips stayed completely out of my filter. Perfect setup, and it worked really well in here, except until it didn't. And the reason it didn't is because all the time before, like when I had the filter bags on that, I would push it outside the door because it was a tiny 19 by 19 shop, so the hose could reach where I was working. I'd plug it into my contractor saw and my little band saw and all those things, and it kept all that stuff out of the shop, and it pumped all that air right out the door. But I also had 2 8-foot doors on that little shop, and I also had a swamp cooler because it was in the high desert of California. That swamp cooler would put out like 4,000 cubic feet of air every minute. So that airspace was pretty well purged all the time. Then I came out here to Texas, I built this shop, and I have 2 8-foot doors on this one, and I ran my little dust collector in here, and I had a 30-inch fan that would sit out front and just blow air right through if there didn't happen to be a breeze or something that day. Okay, so that, under those circumstances, the air is going to stay pretty clear. Your exposure is not going to be that bad. If you guys that are working in a garage, just know that these tools are very efficient at filling that airspace with the fine particulates, the airborne particles. That's what we're talking about. So those build up in that space, and you're breathing that stuff in, and people walking in and out from the house, or you walking in the house with that stuff all over you, it contaminates the environment in your house as well. So you got to understand how this actually works. These tools are very good at throwing that shit in the air. And the one thing that people don't get is less than a teaspoon of that will bring the levels inside a shop this size way beyond helpful limits as far as like industrial standards go, right? So I'm not going to do the demonstrations and tell you to buy this or do that, but what I am going to do is tell you, one, you probably, unless you've researched this stuff extensively, you probably don't know what you don't know. And I'm going to give you the resources in the link below there in the comment section where you can go and look at some of this stuff, all right? And the other thing I want to tell you is, like, because I know somebody's going to be like, well, I have an air filter and I do this, and I saw Jay Bates and so over there and that guy on that channel. Trust me, the irony of this statement is not lost on me, but be careful what you learn on YouTube, because nobody's paying attention to that either. I can say anything I want to as long as I don't violate their standards or be too aggressive with somebody. They're going to put it up there. So everything you're seeing on YouTube is not 100% accurate either. I've seen some crazy stuff out there. That's why I always say be careful what you learn online. But what you can do is you can go to the links I'm going to post, and you can read it, research, and I'm posting links from all over the world, not just here in the United States, but there's organizations that exclusively study these things, and I'm going to post a link to all of them so you have access to all that information so you understand exactly what's happening. And for the guys that are already sitting there thinking, oh, he's full of shit and doesn't, denial doesn't give a shit about your health, man. You really don't. Okay, so think what you want to. What I'm telling you, with the whole purpose of this, is that I see so many crazy things, like your dust vac hose with a brush on the back of it behind your miter saw is not capturing all the dust that you have to worry about. Okay, we're not talking about the mess or the nuisance dust. We're talking about the dangerous particulates that you can't see that will scar your lungs, and give you cancer, and also cause irritation on your skin. And some of us get sensitive to that. I got friends that have been doing this for decades, and suddenly they develop an allergy to wood dust because they've been exposed to it so much, right? So read the research if you're interested. If you're not, good luck to you. Keep doing what you're doing. Hope it all works out, because it's not so funny when you lose 20% of your lung functions, guys. And denial doesn't care about your health. All right, so that's all I got to say about that. I'm going to give you guys the information. You know, and it talks about confined spaces. I'll tell you, in this shop right here, the reason I have about an $8,000 system in here. And I'm not telling you guys you have to do that. I'm not selling you anything. Honestly, I don't care what you do. I want you to just know what you're dealing with. So in here, I have an Oneida Dust Gorilla Pro 5 horsepower. It's got the smart boost and all that, HEPA filtration. The reason that's in here is, one, because I had the money, and two, here in Texas, in the wintertime, we can get down into the very low teens. We've been negative temperatures in the past. That's not very often. Normally, we're between 20s, 30s, and on average in the 40s in the coldest months. But in the summer, the humidity's up here. I'm here in North Texas, just south of Dallas. The humidity's up, and the temperatures could be over 100 degrees. And this is a metal building. And the way it's situated here, it's oriented, the sun in the afternoon is all over this building right here in the hottest part of the day. So what I ended up doing, because I'm getting older now, I don't want to sit here sweating all that while I'm trying to do stuff. So I spray insulated the inside of this and installed this air conditioner that's up on the wall behind me. I don't think you can see it, but I put a mini split in here. It's a 3-ton, and now my shop stays in the 70s year round. So once that happened, working especially with cedar, like we build a lot of outdoor furniture here, the cedar built up in here was very noticeable right away. You couldn't stand to breathe in here. It's not running all over your face and all that. So we had to do something different. Plus, I've already lost 20% of my lung function. I have asthma and all kinds of things like that. And I have 2 children in the house. Well, sorry, they're grown now. One of them's about to graduate high school with their high school degree, and the other one started her master program for business. So they're not children, but they both have cystic fibrosis. So that's always been a big concern for us too. So I installed this big system in here, mainly because like that Laguna 18BX bandsaw there, the manufacturer minimum required airflow for that dust collection is over 600 CFM. The saw stop I got sitting right there, they want like 400 something, 350, 400. Plus I got the overarm dust collection that everybody's like, that thing doesn't work. Well, it's not going to work with your ShopVac. But I tell you what, you hook it up to that big bastard over there in the corner, and even with that filter on it that isn't exactly clean, that overarm right there at the end of that tube pulls 400 CFM right there, and that's on a split line. And then the farthest connection over here, that pulls 900 CFM when the filter's new, and it gets down to about 500, 600 at the drill press right there when the filter has been working for a while. So that just gives you a little bit of an idea. There's no stationary tools that require less than 350 CFM that I'm aware of. Most of them require 350 and above. Your average ShopVac, and I don't care what you put in front of it, the ShopVac is only going to pull 150, and a ShopVac is designed for static pressure, which you can also look at and understand what that is. And it's made to pull, like you see the guys like, look, and it's pulling up all the dust on the table. That's what they're designed to do. That's why they work great for cleaning your floor. But they're not filtering the air. The air filters you guys are hanging up from Harbor Freight and Grizzly and all those are great additions to your shop, but understand what those do. With those fine particles going in the air, they're not keeping the air clean. They can't keep up with that. But what they're perfect for is, like I said, those particulates stay in the air for hours after you shut all the machines off and walk out. Those machines will filter all that out, so when you open that door in the morning, just the little air disturbance from you opening your shop will put all that right back up in the air again. And it builds up over time, and like I said, it's all fun and games until you lose 20% of lung function for scarring, because that's the big threat. Everyone's like, well, cancer, nobody's really worried about that until you get it. But the particulates that you're breathing in, the breathable particles, are so fine that they carry all the way into the small sacs on the inside of your lungs without getting all into the medical part of it. But then they cause scar tissue because they're jagged and they're sharp. And when you get scarring in your lungs, they don't function like they're supposed to. All right? So this is an important subject. It's vastly misunderstood, and everybody just kind of takes it with a grain of salt. Like, shop looks clean, it must be fine. I'm here to tell you that's not accurate. Okay? So if you're interested in these things, check the links below. Sorry it's a longer video, but it's kind of important to me, I guess you can tell. I'm going to get back to work. Talk to you guys later.